We're learning new details about how the Newfoundland provincial government is cracking down on those who are intentionally starting fires. This comes as several wildfires continue to burn out of control in that province. CBC's Jessica Singer joins us live now from St. John's. Jessica, you just came back from Premier Hogan's news conference. We're really hearing you, and I've been talking about this for the last few days, his frustration grow when it comes to people who are not heeding the call to not start fires, including bonfires and things like that, around the province. What are the latest developments?
Yeah, so Deanna, I'll first start with the latest with the wildfires. There are still 3 wildfires that are out of control in the province. The biggest one is in Kingston, in the Conception Bay North area, about a couple hours out of St. John's. The latest update we have from the Premier about that is that that fire is now close to 2,900 hectares. There are 2 other out of control wildfires, one in Holyrood about a half hour from St. John's and one in central Newfoundland, but both of those haven't seen much action, not like the fire in Kingston. Mostly light smoke and hot spots in Holyrood now, and slight increases to the blaze at the Martin Lake fire in central Newfoundland. We know that thousands of people now have had to flee their homes due to evacuation orders. Hundreds of people who have already been evacuated for days. The Justice Minister says finding accommodations for all of these evacuees has been proving to be a challenge because there has been such an increase in the evacuation orders over the past few days, but the Red Cross is helping people find a place to lay their heads. Now, the Premier and the Forestry Minister say, as you mentioned there, Deanna, they've heard a lot of reports of fires being set intentionally, despite a province-wide fire ban. We know St. John's firefighters responded to 6 bonfires overnight, and there have been reports on Newfoundland's west coast that fire crews say they are certain were deliberately set. So the government's response is to come down pretty hard on that. Starting today, he just announced at that media availability, fines for violating a fire ban will now range from $50,000 to $150,000. So to break that down, for a first offense, fines are increasing from what used to be $75 to now being $50,000. And prison sentence for not paying is increasing from what used to be 3 days to now 6 months. The second offense fines are increasing from what used to be $150 to now $75,000. And Deanna, those are massive increases. And Premier John Hogan says they are justified.
Despite the serious nature of what's happening, we are continuing to see reports of people setting fires, and in some cases setting fires intentionally. I don't know the word that I can use to say how I feel about this. Beyond troubled and frustrated that this is reckless and irresponsible behavior.
We've been talking over the past few days about just how angry and upset he is about these fires being intentionally set. They couldn't give us a number on how many intentional fires there have been, but we know that they have been inundated with emails. Although the government has also expressed concern about ATV use on trails that are hampering evacuation efforts, the government says they are not banning ATV use in any capacity as of yet.
And Jessica, it's a really tricky time for Newfoundland because on the one hand, of course, protecting human life and property has to be the priority containing these fires. On the other hand, there are the Canada Summer Games that are getting underway in St. John's. This is a peak tourist time for the province. Many people are visiting. How are the wildfires and the smoke impacting the Summer Games?
Yeah, so on top of the thousands of tourists we have, there are also thousands of athletes and spectators from across the country that are coming to St. John's for the games today and tomorrow. I can tell you that the smoke smells very heavy in the city where I am right now, but they are saying it's a day-by-day analysis for the Canada Games. Officials are monitoring the situation, but I can tell you that everything is still going ahead as of now.
Thank you so much for that, Jessica. That's CBC's Jessica Singer in St. John's.